What's up, Rob? Ross says I gotta be home early tonight. I don't know.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now.
What's up, everybody?
Because we're never dropping now. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the Dow. We've been thinking for
She's not the boss of me.
let the truth fade away.
No, her mom wants us to go to a water park with her tomorrow morning.
We won't let
Take the kids.
burn away, burn
Just not stay overnight or nothing. Just go hang out at the water park. Her mom's paying, and hang out, and then come back home.
lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Damn, everybody's getting here late, slow tonight, huh?
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Yeah, it is kind of a heat wave right now, isn't it? Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is a Cold Beer Confessional. We've been having some fucking incredibly hot weather. I saw a news report about a heat dome. Somehow the jet streams have moved in a certain way that it's just going to keep heat in the central part, most of the U.S., right? We're like up in the 90s now, but man, it's been so damn humid, like thunderstorms and shit. It's been crazy. So we're going to a water park tomorrow. That'll be fun. But Mariah says I got to get up early, so I can't stay out night. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for coming back again. Still no update on my VA case. In case anybody's wondering, I've been refreshing it every 30 minutes. It usually doesn't change till I forget about it. Like after like a week or two, I'll forget about it, and suddenly I'll get an email that says I've got a letter that I need to read on the VA website. But whatever. Can't hurt none, right? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. If you want to support the show, you do that at coldbeer.fund. We are very thankful for the people who have kept us afloat through this kind of fucked up time we've been going through. So thank you for that. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Anyways, I probably won't be on super long tonight. We got to get up tomorrow. And let's see. Oh, we went to a place today it was actually a really cool place. So if anybody sees this from my area, I guess, there's a place called God's Warehouse in a town, a few towns over, Elizabethton. And it's pretty cool. It's an old warehouse that this church group bought, and it's ran by volunteers. And they have a ton of construction supplies. Everything from like faucets you might need in your bathroom to like 2x4s and lumber and insulation and all kinds of shit. Plumbing parts. We went there today and got a water heater and some green board, which is like drywall but for a bathroom. Got some green board, some water heater, some PEX stuff. All of it's free, right? After a natural disaster, they apparently it's not just for Helene. They've been open for like a few years. They bought a warehouse beside Snap-on that was closing down, and the guy who owned the business that was closing down was a member of this church, and they bought the warehouse and a forklift, and they just stock it with construction supplies. So there you go. It's not bad. I hate having to go log in the VA website. Yeah, ID me. I've got it down pat. All my shit's saved, so it's aggravating, but you have to wait on a text message and shit. Anyways, God's Warehouse in Elizabethton. If you're local to me, it seems like a good place. They're obviously helping a ton of people after Helene right now because it took people a while to clean up to where they could rebuild. But they also do it for other things and fire, disaster, whatever. It's a charity. So there you go. Anyways, thank you guys for coming and hang out with us. I got a few things. You cannot convince me. I think Trump wants to drop a nuclear weapon. I think Trump wants to use a nuclear weapon. And it's his mentality, it's his attitude, it's who he is. I think he wants to do it, right? Because it's not something that everybody gets to do. Just like he wants to expand U.S. territory, like he wants to take Greenland or fucking Canada or something, right? He wants to make the U.S. bigger. It's not something that every president gets to do. And I think he wants to do it. I think the issue he's having right now is how do I do it and also not get as much, blowback off of it, right? How can I do it and make people like it? What story can I spin to say, oh, we had to do it, right? I didn't want to, but we had, who knows? But I do think the way he thinks he wants to use a nuclear weapon. And it won't take much in my opinion, it won't take much for Israel and the people around him to talk him into it. A lot of people around him are war hawkish. Hell, today, I think it was today, a reporter asked him today and said that he asked Trump, what would you say to the intelligence community that says Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon or nuclear capabilities to make a nuclear weapon? Which we're only on Trust Me, Bro right now that Israel said Israel's been saying since the 80s that they're like a year away from a nuclear weapon. Now that they did this most recent strike, they said, oh, we had to do it because within weeks they'd have been striking us with, a nuclear weapon. So Trump's asked on, it looked like it was on tarmac, like a runway for Air Force One, I guess. What would you say to the intelligence communities that say, Iran doesn't have the capability to build a nuclear weapon yet? They're not even close. And he said, they're wrong and they can't. They're wrong and they can't. And then he made the mistake of saying, which intelligence agency is saying that? And they said, your own DNI, Kristi Noem. And he's like, oh, she's wrong. She's wrong. They got one. She's wrong. This 2-week bullshit. Trump always says 2 weeks about everything. Somebody shared a video. Hold on. I think that was in. Somebody shared a video. Trump's always saying 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. That is his go-to thing. Here it is. Let's watch this. Hold on. The insiders are saying that he thinks that, I'm sorry, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. I said Kristi Noem. It's Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know why I said Kristi Noem. You're exactly right. My bad. I don't know why. Thank you, Rob. It seems like the insiders are saying Iran is going to just give up their nuclear. They're just going to come out and say, hey, it's too tough. We're not doing it. We'll give up all of our nuclear capability you can have. I don't think that's going to happen. But that's what Trump hopes happens. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Within 2 weeks.
We got some breaking news from White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. When Donald Trump will decide whether or not he's going to join the war in Iran.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
A little familiar.
Got to be 2 weeks.
It shouldn't be surprising because this 2 weeks thing has been standby for Trump for about a decade now. Take a listen.
Yeah, the steak and lobster has very little or nothing to do with it. The days around the Army's 250th, they all had steak and lobster at all the defects.
We're signing a healthcare plan within 2 weeks.
We are coming out.
I'll tell you one of the greatest indicators that something big is about to happen is the local delivery pizza orders around the Pentagon and around the Capitol. It has less to do with steak and lobster. I know that's what they're trying to say is like, we get steak and lobster right before we deploy. That's not true. You do get steak and surf and turf is a thing they do anytime they have like a holiday.
Now, take a listen.
It has nothing to do with war.
Plan within 2 weeks.
We are coming out with that plan in 2 weeks. We are coming out with so many healthcare plans. Our Secretary
Have we seen so many healthcare plans?
of Labor is coming out with a plan in 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, I think you'll be historic numbers. And we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks that'll take place over the next 2 weeks.
And do you still believe that Putin actually wants to end the war?
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon. I'll be making a big
2 weeks is just his filler words.
over the next 2 weeks. So within the next 2 weeks, we're suing the Pulitzer organization to have those prizes taken back. And we're doing one other thing that, believe it or not, is even bigger, but you'll be seeing that over the next 2 weeks. We have tests coming out, perhaps over the next 2 weeks, that will blow the whole industry away. We're coming out with a report in 2 weeks on it, and I want to get to the bottom of it, too, because it's a totally disproportional effect.
2 weeks is all it takes.
Weeks on minimum wage. Tell the Prime Minister that I'll call him back in 2 weeks. I'm busy.
That's just his thing.
We got some breaking news from White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt.
The one thing that I could see happening, the problem is if the U.S. enters, or let's say the U.S. Is considering entering, the GBU 57, which is the bunker buster, it's called Massive Ordnance Penetrator, right? MOP, is 30,000 pounds. There are no Israeli planes short of cargo planes that can carry it. It's specifically made for the B-2 bomber. That's what it's made for, right? 30,000 pounds. You can't put it on an F-16 or an F-18 or an F-35. It just doesn't work. Like, I think an F-18 can only carry like 15 or 18,000 pounds of fuel and ordnance. And this is 30,000 pounds, just ordnance. If we use it and it doesn't destroy the facility, we're in a pretty tough spot then, right? Plus, we've entered the war. Plus, we got shit going on. I think, when I try to think of the way that Israel thinks, Israel kind of runs their army almost like Trump runs the presidency, right? They have these brave, daring, social media moments and this, that, and the other. The nuclear site in Iran that they're talking about that they have to get into, the Bashir or whatever it's called. I don't know how you say it, but Bashir. Anyways, the base is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and there's only 2 routes in. Oh, Fordo, the Fordo nuclear site. That's it. The Bashir is the nuclear plant, I think, the nuclear energy plant. Anyways, Fordo. There's only 2 roads in, or 1 road in, 2 roads in, 2 roads out. It is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I think Israel might put commandos on the ground, right? They might take a special forces team, put them on the ground, let them get in there, take the place over, blow the shit up, and then exfil, right? The problem is getting them back out of there once they're... It wouldn't be that hard with how they're controlling the airspace currently to get them in. But once people know they're there and reports start coming that they're there and they're fucking attacking or whatever, it'd be a lot harder to get them back out without casualties. But it seems like a daring, weird thing. It's so crazy. It seems like something Israel would do, right? Like their pager plan or the fact that they snuck in all these drones into Iran for years and years and years. And seems like something they might do. I don't know. I wish we would have stayed with a fucking nuclear deal. That's what I wish. I wish we'd have stayed with the nuclear deal. All of Europe, China even got involved in that. And we signed this nuclear deal. Like it was a good fucking deal. But because it was associated with Barack Obama, here we fucking are. Trump had no idea what was in it because it's almost the exact same deal he's presenting to him now. It's aggravating. It's aggravating. He comes in and cancels it, says it's a horrible deal just because it was Obama's deal, right? Obama, well, not even Obama. Like I said, all of Europe come together. China, put their issues aside and come and helped negotiate this deal. Like, everybody negotiated this deal. The world negotiated this deal with Iran. And we opened up their economy, and they were doing better. And that's what Trump bitched about, right? They were broke before, now they're so wealthy, blah, blah, blah. But that's part of it. And we had this deal, and just because it had Obama's name on it, fucking Trump's like, nope, that's gone. And then the next time he comes to office, he's like, I'm going to get him to sign the exact same deal. What was the point? The only people that really condemned the nuclear deal, besides Trump and his cronies and people that didn't like Obama or whatever, but like came out right and was like, this is fucking horrible. They should never be allowed to do this, was Israel. Netanyahu hated the Iran deal, right? Because it brought Iran back to the world marketplace. It brought them out of all these sanctions and travel restrictions and all the stuff the world had put on Iran, and tried to bring them back. And it only worked. It only worked well because at that exact time when we were going to sign it, they had just elected probably one of their most moderate leaders in forever, right? In forever. A guy that you could actually communicate with. The leaders before him, the leaders after him, well, you kind of fucked, right? But that guy just happened to be a moderate, happened to be, Western leaning, wanted to open the country up a little bit more, was open to negotiations, and we were able to get it through. And then Trump does away with it and then comes back and says he wants it back. Like, who the fuck understands this guy? He's insane. And now we've got Israel calling foul, saying, oh, they bombed our hospital. They shot this. What the fuck have you been doing in fucking Gaza the whole time? Like, again, nobody should be targeting hospitals. I get it. And if there's a reason that you got to do something to a hospital, you got to send in boots on the ground, right? To make sure that you're getting the bad guys out of the hospital, but the good guys are there. But hell, Israel left fucking goddamn kids to die in hospitals with no staff. Hooked up to machines and shit. They died alone. In Gaza. Only because the bombs didn't get them first. Like, it's fucking insane. Anyways, that's what we got going on. I don't understand how you watch this and don't think like, what the fuck?
يما يما بعدايش يما بعدايش يما يما مصطفى كريم مصطفى انا يرد علي بس.
The IAEA was doing inspections and monitoring in Iran. What's that stand for? International Atomic Energy Agency was doing the inspections of their Iran deal. Like, this is somebody that his family's fucking just gone.
يما يما بعدايش يما بعدايش يما يما مصطفى كريم مصطفى انا يرد علي بس.
Like, how the fuck? How do you watch that and then think, yeah, exactly. Like, even when I was in Iraq, I'm an idiot, right? I joined to fucking kill people. Like, I'm not a smart person. I'm not a politician. I'm not a geopolitical leader. But even when I was in Iraq, I was thinking, man, these kids in 10, 15, 20 years are going to fucking hate us. Like, look what the fuck like, we show up, we don't speak their language, we fucking throw a bag over their goddamn head and drag their dad away. Like, who wouldn't fucking hate us? So I saw a report. I didn't read it all, so I might be wrong about it. But it said that I think 51 people were killed by Israeli forces in Gaza going to a fucking like food distribution, like a supply drop. And then this happened.
Use drones. Why did Israel use drones, tanks, and artillery to kill 51 people queuing for food?
When we win the Iran war, this is where we're going to have a huge opportunity to have a proper ceasefire in Gaza, because this is the patron of Hamas and all the proxy system they built for years around Israel.
Here's the story while they're talking about it. She completely ignored the question, in case you're wondering. It says at least 51 Palestinians were killed and more than 200 wounded in Gaza Strip while waiting for UN and commercial trucks to enter the territory with desperately needed food, according to Gaza's health ministry and local hospital. Palestinian witnesses told the AP that Israeli forces carried out an airstrike on a nearby home before opening fire toward the crowd in the southern city of Khan Yunis. The Israeli military said soldiers had spotted a gathering near an aid truck that was stuck in Khan Yunis, near where Israeli forces were operating. It acknowledged several casualties as Israelis opened fire on the approaching crowd and said authorities would investigate what happened. The shooting did not appear to be related to a new a new Israel and U.S. supported aid delivery network that rolled out last month and has been marred by controversy and violence. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA, said the people killed were waiting for food rations arriving in UN convoys. Also on Tuesday, the main Palestinian telecoms regulatory agency based in West Bank of Ramallah reported that Israeli strikes had cut off fixed line phone services and internet access in central and southern Gaza. Like, how do you kill 51 people waiting for food? After you've been starving them and keeping them from their, you just kill them when they're waiting on the fucking trucks? What the fuck, dude? Anyways, let's see how she answers the question here.
Did Israel use drones, tanks, and artillery?
So I cut that short. He says, why did Israel? Not did Israel. Why did Israel?
Why did Israel use drones, tanks, and artillery to kill 51 food?
When we win the Iran war, this is where we're going to have a huge opportunity to have a proper ceasefire in Gaza, because this is the patron of Hamas and all the proxy system they built for years around Israel.
I'm asking you why you are killing civilians.
We are not.
Well, you are.
No, we are. We're not.
It's the fourth such attack.
We're not firing. We're not firing on civilians. We're making sure.
I'm sorry. All the evidence is you are. The scenes in the hospital,
Andrew.
Dismembered corpses, bits of children being brought into a hospital after queuing for food.
Andrew, again, Israel never targets children, civilians whatsoever. What is happening, that Hamas is the one who's firing on people and preventing it to get food because he's losing control on the aid system.
That is not what people there are saying. That's not what the rescuers are saying. The scenes inside the hospital at Khan Yunis are absolutely horrific. And these were people queuing for food at a food distribution point. I can't understand why they were attacked with drones and tanks.
Like, that's a pretty wild way to answer that question, huh? Yusuf Nafal, an eyewitness, said he saw many people motionless and bleeding on the ground after the Israeli forces opened fire. It was a massacre, he said, adding that the soldiers continued firing on people as they fled from the area. Mohammed Abu Kushfa reported hearing a loud explosion followed by heavy gunfire and tank shelling. I survived by a miracle, he said. The dead and the wounded were taken to the city's Nasser hospital, which confirmed 51 people had been killed. Later Tuesday, medical charity MSF raised the death toll to 59, saying that another 200 had been wounded while trying to receive flour rations in Khan Yunis. Samar McDad was at the hospital looking for her two brothers and a nephew who had been in the crowd. Quote, "We don't want flour. We don't want food. We don't want anything. Why do they fire at the young people? Why? Aren't we human beings?" Palestinians say Israeli forces have repeatedly opened fire on crowds trying to reach food distribution points run by separate U.S. and Israeli-backed aid groups since the centers opened last month. Local health officials say scores have been killed and hundreds wounded. In those instances, the Israeli military has acknowledged firing warning shots at people it said, had approached its forces in a suspicious manner. So they approached the food truck suspiciously. Deadly Israeli airstrikes continued elsewhere in the enclave on Tuesday. Al-Adwa Hospital, a major medical center in northern Gaza, reported that it has received the bodies of 8 Palestinians killed in an Israeli strike on a house in central Barouj refugee camp. Israel says the new system, operated by a private contractor, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, is designed to prevent Hamas from siphoning off aid to fund its militant activities. This is where they're doing facial recognition. They told people, if you've ever been picked up by the Israeli military, like they put you in zip ties, even if they let you go, right? If you've ever been picked up and questioned by Israeli military, do not show up looking for food. We'll kill you. UN agencies and major aid groups deny there's any major diversion of aid and have rejected the new system, saying it can't meet the mounting needs in Gaza and that it violates humanitarian principles by allowing Israel to control who has access to aid. Again, that's against the humanitarian principles we usually carry out, right? Picking and choosing who gets aid. How do you know if you're right, and who are you starving to death if you're wrong? The UN says, hey, they're not siphoning off large amounts of this to like turn flour into bombs, right? That's not a thing that's happening. Just give food to everybody. Who cares if some of the people that you're fighting get to fucking eat? That's not a valid strategy in this war, is to starve them to death. Let everybody fucking eat, right? Like, why the fuck does it matter? Experts have warned famine in the territory that is home to some 2 million Palestinians. The UN-run network has delivered aid across Gaza throughout 20-month Israeli-Hamas war, but has faced major obstacles since Israel loosened a total blockade it had imposed from early March until mid-May. UN officials say Israeli military restrictions, a breakdown of law and order, and widespread looting make it difficult to deliver the aid that Israel has allowed in. Olga Cherevko, a spokesperson for OCHA, said on Tuesday that the aid Israeli authorities have allowed into Gaza since late May has been woefully insufficient. Fuel has not entered Gaza for over 100 days, she said. The only way to address it is by sufficient volumes and over sustained periods of time. A trickle of aid here, a trickle of aid there is not going to make a difference. Here's what they're doing with the aid, what I think they're doing with the aid. If you starve 2 million people, okay, 2 million people are going without everything. Electricity and internet access and food and water and everything. And then you send in some trucks. Let's say you send in enough trucks to feed 100,000 people. What you're going to have is people losing their fucking shit trying to get stuff to feed their families. They want these crazy reactions of these posts. They want people to fucking lose their shit and fight and stampede and scream and yell and shove people down when the aid comes in, because that makes them look like fucking animals. And they'll say, look, we tried to give them aid, but look, you see how they act. You see how we can't do this. Are you crazy? But wouldn't you fight to feed your fucking kids? Like if they only sent enough food in for 1 out of every 10 families, you wouldn't fight somebody for it? Israel's military campaign since October 2023 has killed over 55,300 Palestinians. More than half of them women and children, according to Gaza's health ministry. Its count does not distinguish between civilians and combatants. Israel launched this campaign aiming to destroy Hamas after the October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel, in which militants killed around 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking another 251 hostage. The militants still hold 53 hostages, fewer than half of them alive, after most of the rest were released in ceasefire agreements or other deals. Fucking crazy, dude. Insane. I don't know.
You're not going to silence my ass by invoking the Holocaust or calling me an anti-Semite. I don't give a shit. Okay, I see what's happening clearly. I'm going to speak up about it, and no one's going to shut me up. Period. End of story. We see what's going on. The entire international community sees what's happening. The Israeli government wants to genocide and
You're right, Star Troopian.
Not just from Gaza, but the West Bank too. Look at the terror they're dealing with in the West Bank.
Hang on, Shabbat, please. Hang on. I want to go to Emily. What I find extraordinary, I genuinely mean this, is there seems to be either a lack of awareness of what the rest of the world is now beginning to feel about this, or a deliberate putting head in sand and saying it's not happening, we don't want to hear it. Because if I was an Israeli, if I was Jewish right now, it would be impossible not to be aware of how the world is beginning to feel about this, and that this has got out of hand. It's disproportionate. Too many children are being killed. There seems to be no end game for this whatsoever, other than, as Shabbos has just said, getting all the Palestinians out, right? Which is clearly what Smotrich, the finance minister, wants to do, and clearly what other members of that cabinet agree with him about. I just don't get why there's no awareness or deliberately willful blindness towards the growing international opprobrium from people like me, right, who've been very supportive of Israel's right to defend themselves. But there's just no apparent, all there is a digging in and a sort of blind refusal to admit that anything the Israeli government is doing is wrong, when most people, including 2 Israeli former prime ministers, have said it's not only wrong, but criminal.
I think you can have nuance here. I think the Israeli people, I think you got to have empathy in thinking about this. Okay, the people who live in Israel are being fed a bunch of bullshit by their government, mostly, right? And they feel like a lot of the world hates them because of what is going on in Palestine. And I'm sure they feel secluded. I'm sure they feel left out. I'm sure they feel like the world's against them. That's different than the government and the people giving the commands. And that's a hell of a lot different than all the fucking people dying in fucking Gaza. Like, there's a bunch of nuance here. But I don't think you can get away from saying this is an attempted genocide. They're starving them, and then when they show up to trucks, they're killing them in droves. Insane, dude. Insane.
Foreign wars. The MAGA mindset appears to be, we didn't vote for foreign wars. We voted for civil war.
This is a war. The battle for America was going to take place in Los Angeles. The only way to win here is to double and triple down.
The current war that we are seeing waged by the Democrats, by the foreign nationals waving Mexican flags.
The city of Los Angeles is an occupied city. It is time to retake the cities of this country. It is time to use force.
What the f***? They are looking for any pretense. They are looking for any pretense to sick their robot dogs on Democrats. And the strategy that they're using is to inflate the threat that this country now faces, to so rile up their base as to make the left in this country, represented by over 75 million votes in the past presidential election, as a legitimate military target for the United States of America. It's a strategy that's been used before to gin up military conflict. See if you recognize it.
The good people of Iraq, they want a peaceful country. They want security.
The good people of Los Angeles deserve to be secure in their homes.
We're not going anywhere until there is a stable environment.
We're not going anywhere. We're here to maintain the peace, liberate Iraq from the tyranny.
Liberate the city from the socialists.
We will liberate the people of Iraq.
We will liberate Los Angeles. We must! They don't understand yet. We must invade Los Angeles. We cannot have the world's most dangerous people eating the world's most delicious tacos. The MAGA mindset appears to be, we didn't vote for foreign wars. We voted for civil war.
This is a war.
He had a really good piece. Let's see if this... I'm a big gun guy, okay? And even this made me think like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Jon Stewart, the voice of fucking reason, always.
Why are they attacking Los Angeles right now? Why is the right so willing to tear our cities apart?
I don't think this is it.
Dangerous criminals continue to flood our nation and kill our citizens.
This has to stop. I mean, I think about it from
Oh, yeah, it is.
I mean, how safe are they in this society?
One woman or one child violated by an illegal alien is one too many.
The alarm bells were going off a long time ago. A lot of Democrats will defend this and say, well, you know, it's such a small percentage. They have blood on their hands, pure and simple.
One is too many, guys.
Too many. One death. By the way, true. It is too many. Violence should never be accepted. It should never be tolerated. But that's for their issue. In the wake of Sandy Hook and Uvalde and Parkland and El Paso and Lewiston and Aurora and Buffalo and Boulder and Binghamton and Highland Park and Monterey Park and San Bernardino and San Jose and San Francisco and the Pulse nightclub and the Colorado Springs nightclub and the Little Rock nightclub and the Borderline Bar in Thousand Oaks and the Ned Peppers Bar in Dayton and the Waffle House in Nashville and Virginia Tech and UVA and MSU and UCSB and FSU and NIU and SMC and the Sutherland Springs Church and the Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston and the Living Church of God and the Tree of Life Synagogue and the Allen Mall and the Westroads Mall and Fort Hood and Lockheed Martin. And what are we f***ing doing? What are we doing? By the way, that is a wildly incomplete list. We kept it to the last 25 years, and it's still not everything. And what's their response to all that?
They're doing the same thing that they always do after there's a mass shooting. They politicize it.
The issue is not with the Second Amendment. Guns aren't the problem. Does a gun commit crime?
Democrats want to take away your guns. They don't want to solve problems.
Turns out, when it comes to mass shootings, one's not too many. Actually, a shitload isn't too many. And by the way, you can say Second Amendment all you want, but you definitely don't seem to mind throwing out the Constitution when it comes to deportation. Why are they attacking Los Angeles right now? Why is the right so willing to...
The only ones that don't count are the ones made in America, I think is how he ends it. He says something else like, but when a brown person does it, one too many. But I guess it just doesn't count when those deaths are made in America. That's insane, dude. To go off with this one is too many and then still do this shit when a school shooting happens.
It happened almost...
I don't know, dude. I'm already fucking depressed and stressed about money and finances and the VA and shit, and I don't need all this other shit going on. I wish I could fucking block it all out, but I can't help but fucking look at it, dude. I don't know why. Here is this was a good video I found. It's just about how AI and bad actors are fueling all the misinformation as soon as something happens. Just like we saw with the Vance Belter. He's a Democrat. Here's his picture. It wasn't him. Tim Walz, blah, blah, blah. Just all that shit.
It happened almost immediately.
Today we are asking for the public's help in locating Vance Luther Bolter.
While investigators were still chasing down the man in Minnesota.
What the fuck does how many pedos out there doing the same thing mean?
Minnesota accused of killing a state lawmaker and her husband.
It seems like he went after a Democratic legislator because she voted against Democrat Party policy.
That is the president's son spreading that lie. Like, the woman did vote with Republicans, so the rest of her party did not have to. They could get this passed, and they could get other things taken care of in the budget that they valued more, right? It's a negotiation, right? It's a compromise. She cried afterwards about how she didn't want to do it, but we have to do this. We gotta compromise sometimes. Didn't want to do it. Oh, pedos attacking children. It was insane. And the first narrative they spread is like, oh, this one woman one time voted with Republicans, so he must be a leftist trying to kill anybody who ever votes with a Republican. That's what they do. And this isn't just some random guy. It's the president's son spreading this misinformation. Hours. The bodies weren't even cold yet.
Killing a state lawmaker and her husband.
It seems like he went after a Democratic legislator because she voted against Democrat Party policy.
Political influencers online were already claiming to know his motives. In Washington, D.C., President Trump's military parade over the weekend was either huge or puny.
There was just no people there.
Depending on which set of images one saw. And on the streets of Los Angeles, where most protests of ICE raids were nonviolent, you'd never know that from the sometimes inaccurate images that went viral online.
Trying to access verifiable and accurate information on the internet at the moment is as difficult as I think it's ever been.
David Gilbert is a reporter at Wired. He's been covering misinformation for over a decade.
When breaking news happens, at this point you can almost guess what some of the disinformation narratives are going to be. For example, around the LA protests, we saw reusing old footage, people using footage from the George Floyd protests in 2020. We saw people using footage from the Arma 3 video game, which is a war game, so they used footage from that
video game.
LA. We saw George Soros being blamed that all the protesters were being paid, something that Donald Trump amplified himself last week.
These are paid.
That's even worse. So we have a president repeating these verifiable bullshit.
Troublemakers, they get money.
You still have all of this, but then you're putting the AI on top of it, making it so much worse.
Hey everyone, Bob here on National Guard duty.
AI-generated videos like this one featuring a purported member of the National Guard in Los Angeles.
I saw an AI video today that honestly looked realistic, but it was supposed to be Mary, the mother of Jesus. Like, she gets pregnant by an angel and they fucking off to Bethlehem. Like, it was silly, but I mean, it looked realistic.
On social media last week.
If you looked at the AI videos that people believed were real, there were issues with people's faces, issues with the signs in the background, lots of very clear signals that it was AI. But people just don't pay that much attention anymore. People want to be the first person to share it.
That desire to be first, that desire to be the person who is breaking the story or has the image, it really happens over and over and over again.
Renee DiResta is the author of Invisible Rulers, The People Who Turn Lies into Reality. She says social media companies incentivize viral, not necessarily truthful content.
People begin to realize that during chaotic events, they could actually capitalize on that chaos. They could push out false and misleading stories. They could dredge up old protest footage, re-amplify it, pretend it was happening right then, and they could actually monetize that. They could kind of capture attention, and certain platforms actually let people who are pushing out what looks like current content make money off of it.
And you say that the social media platforms are aware of these incentives, are aware that people are capitalizing on these events, and do they facilitate that?
Well, the incentives are not necessarily made for the worst actors, right? The incentives are there because we should want people to be able to break news in their communities, right? If this was a situation where I'm just out there on my street with my camera phone and I happen to record something, we should want me to be able to get that information out there. When people do this ethically, it's incredibly powerful.
And once viral, content, true or not, often finds its way onto multiple platforms, like this video that was likely posted on Instagram before getting attention on Blue Sky last week.
The officers were wearing NYPD uniforms, and they were separating a baby and a mom, and it was being pushed out as if this was an ICE raid and a family was being separated. It actually took me a while to try to figure out if it was AI generated or not, or if it had been edited or not. And in the time it took me to do that, about 6,000 people have retweeted it.
After studying the video, DiResta believes it's real, but that it likely shows old footage and not a recent ICE raid.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X.
Meanwhile, with major platforms rolling back fact-checking, more and more people seem to be turning to chatbots to discern what is real. X's Grok, or ChatGPT, for example.
People have been asking Grok, which is built into X.
My favorite thing is watching Grok, or Republicans ask Grok, like, oh, hey, Grok, tell them all the things that were wrong with the 2020 election and why it was stolen. List all the evidence. It's like, it wasn't stolen. You're fucking stupid. Like, don't be retarded over here. Like, they self-own themselves with AI all the fucking time. It's so funny.
And ChatGPT to verify images and videos and statements by lawmakers. And instead of coming back with accurate information, it's actually coming back with disinformation.
He points to a recent example when California Governor Gavin Newsom posted these images of National Guard troops on his X account, apparently to prove President Trump had sent troops that had no place to sleep.
So someone asked Grok, said, is this photo real? And Grok came back saying, it looks like the photo was taken in Afghanistan in 2021 in Kabul airport during the U.S. troop withdrawal.
Grok was wrong. The images were real, originally sourced by the San Francisco Chronicle and deemed by the Department of Defense itself as appearing authentic.
These AI chatbots, which have been so lauded as revolutionary, as cutting edge from a tech perspective, still have huge issues in producing accurate, fact-checked, verified information. And this is just the latest example. I think the reliance on these chatbots by a lot of people is
so they clearly grab somebody else's information, right? They grab the image. So like, let's say I uploaded an image and I said it was in Tennessee. And then like 200 other accounts grab the image and say, that's not Tennessee, that's fake Tennessee, it's actually Northern California. It's going to go out and parse that information and say, oh, well, the image claims to show Tennessee, but I've got 200 other sources that are saying it's actually Northern California or whatever.
Turning to them now because they don't actually have human fact checkers anymore at these companies that they can ask.
As our reliance on AI grows, so too does fear about how it will shape our future.
We're in really chaotic times, and the ability to create very plausible unreality is only getting better, even as our trust in each other continues to decline. As the people and outlets that we
every side spreads misinformation. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes the left spreads slight misinformation or embellishes upon a story, and then the right wing believe that Democrats eat babies and drink their blood. I don't think they're anywhere close to the same. It's like saying everybody speeds, but you were also doing 150 and ran over a baby in a stroller. Yeah, but everybody speeds.
We put our faith in continues to diverge, more and more it's going to be impossible for us to come to consensus about basic reality, and that unfortunately is where we are.
Where we are itself now a point of contention in a world of fractured realities. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Stephanie Tsai.
It's only going to get worse. Let me show you something cool. You guys remember, who did I tell you? The older millennial. Who is the older millennial sources? Where does he get his source information from? Where does the older millennial, where did I tell you that he sources his information and just presents it as if it's facts? As soon as he sees it, he comes and makes a video and says it's facts. Right-wing Twitter memes, okay? And now I didn't bust him on this one. I said somebody could. I'm like, I know somebody could. They could just go and search this on until they found the exact meme and say, there it is. That's his source. I didn't even fact check. I have fact checked him on like 5 of them. I didn't do this one. Harry Sisson did this one, which probably hurts more. Right-wing Twitter memes. Let's see. Now, remember this video? Does this look like a Republican? That's not even the guy, right? That's this woman's husband.
Like a Republican? Like, it's just a question for all you liberals saying that Vance Bolter.
Now, look how this video's cropped. There's a white bar that basically hits right in the middle of his shoulder there, right? And I know this image is bigger. You can see his whole arm and some stuff beside him. But this image specifically is cropped with a white bar that goes through, not older millennial, but the guy in the background they're claiming is Vance. It goes right through his shoulder.
The suspect in the shooting of those 2 Minnesota lawmakers, you guys are claiming he's a Republican. And your only evidence of that is his neighbor saying he was a Trump supporter.
This is the second time in a week that I've caught this guy openly lying and using fake images from Twitter as evidence for his arguments. Because, buddy, I found your source.
Now let's pay attention to the cropping of this video. MAGA Michelle S. 69. Yeah, Lib, sorry, he's one of you. Keep saying he's not. No one believes you. Democrats saying that Vance Belter is a Republican. Let's put that to rest now. Now, look at the cropping on this.
It's not hard. It's this edited image that...
Boom. See this white line right here? See this white line between these two that runs right down through his shoulder? That's not the full image. He used this exact post.
You found on Twitter and ran with that says, Democrats saying that Vance Bolter is a Republican. Let's put that to rest now. I know it's your source because you can see the white border right here. You just screenshotted it and zoomed in. But the man in that photo is not...
There's the full photo. He's got an American flag. I wonder why they cropped out the American flag. Wasn't Democrat looking enough?
Not Vance Bolter. You could have just looked this up. What's wrong with you? This is a photo of the former chair of the Harris County Democrat Party, Lily Schechter, and her husband wearing that shirt. And also, numbnuts, this is not up for debate. We know that Vance Bolter was a Republican. His roommate and best friend said that he was a proud Trump supporter, voted for Trump, was offended if somebody called him a Democrat. And the hit list that police found had 70 people on it, including elected Democrats like Tim Walz and...
Oh my God. We're going to go over a couple more clips. You cannot... I know typically people don't care when I go over some of this stuff. Oh, thank you very much, Billy. I appreciate it. I'll check in a minute, but I'm sure I did. But I cannot stress this enough. I have to show you what Ryan Upchurch has been doing on Instagram today. So good.
Members of Congress and abortion providers in the state. The problem with people like this guy, who unfortunately have platforms, is that they are fundamentally bad human beings. They're okay with lying as long as it gets them some views and clicks on social media and causes some outrage. His only 2 views are love.
I've told you again and again and again, the elder millennial, his only source, he goes on Twitter. He only follows right-wing meme accounts or people who share right-wing memes. He grabs a meme and says, oh, this is it. Guess what, liberals? You're wrong because I found this on Twitter. And he just reports it as if it's true. I don't even think he Googles it. I don't think he searches it. I don't think he questions it. I don't think he looks at the comments. Just content immediately.
Trump get views, and that's a problem here in America that's dividing us further. So if you're a Republican and you don't like me, that's okay. Just take my recommendation and unfollow this dude who lies to you so openly.
Yeah, does this look like a Republican? Like, it's just a question.
And while we're talking about the elder millennial, check this out. He tried. So you know the girl we've been following, Bunny? Bunny's the one that's been calling him out on his warrant and stuff. Now, he tried to call out Bunny today with this.
So there's been a woman here on TikTok who's basically made it her crusade to make sure I'm following the law. And I just thought, hey, let's return the favor.
Okay.
How you doing, Bunny? That's a wonderful mugshot you got there. Now, I've covered her name.
I want you to look at something here. Which one of these crimes do you think that she's convicted of? Possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia, driving while license denied, suspended, canceled, or revoked, violation of financial, not having insurance. None of them. Well, I'm sure the speeding one stuck, but it was booked. She was booked. She was booked.
Because I don't think she's made her name public. And I think that if a creator doesn't want their name out there, it's not my place to put it out. But I can speak on the Schedule 1 drug possession. I can also speak about the driving while suspended. Oh yeah, that came from a case a year before where she got caught speeding.
It's booked. Not convicted, booked.
In excess of 80 miles an hour. And then she didn't show up to court. So the judge...
In fact, not only did she get all these thrown out except for the speeding, she ended up suing the police department and winning $8,000 representing herself.
In contempt and issued a bench warrant. Yeah, she also failed to have insurance while she was driving while suspended.
Now, he doesn't deny that he's got an active warrant. He doesn't deny that he's on the run from the law. He doesn't deny that none of his. He's just like, oh, this other person was booked one time.
In addition to having drugs and drug paraphernalia in the car. So here's the thing, everyone. I think it's wonderful when somebody makes something a personal crusade, and it's really important to them that other people are following the law. And here's the thing. I've made my mistakes. I've also talked extensively about those mistakes. And I hope that people learn from my failures and don't do that themselves. But what I've never done is try to destroy somebody else's life. I've never made it my personal crusade to attack somebody and pretend I'm better than they are, to pretend that I don't have a past. Because I
think almost everybody's better than the older millennial.
Clear what my past is and my past failure.
It's Polk County, Iowa.
So I just wanted you to know what the past was of the person you're all...
I thought the same thing when I saw Polk County.
Basically made it her crusade.
So the only really answer to this has been this. The only real response is one of these.
The level of delusion here is epic. This is actually a real thought that fully grown adults are having right now. He said this with his... I've heard MSNBC say some wild shit in the past, but this is next level. Man, these liberals are just telling on. So there's been a woman...
That's not even it. Hold on.
What obsession looks like. Her last 26 videos in a row have been about me. And since I called her out for her own drug crimes, she's made 9 videos in the last 2 hours defending herself. But let's talk about something more important. Okay, so first, you can always tell when somebody's never actually handled a firearm.
This is most recent video.
And then, bro, we don't give you the weapon and then give you ammunition. No, see, the way it works is the drill sergeants recognize that some people may hate America. So you're set up in a firing position. And the first time you're ever given ammunition, you are in a dugout position where if you wanted to fire on your fellow students, your fellow humans, you would have to turn from that position and try to find a singular target. Now, while you do that, there's a drill sergeant about 3 feet behind you. That drill sergeant is equipped with a sidearm. And if he sees you turn towards your fellow people, he's going to put 3 rounds through your skull. So I know you think that the way the Army works is...
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, this is not true. You could definitely shoot somebody in basic training. When we went out to the range, we would have like 5 drill sergeants for like a fucking 100 goddamn people.
Give you a weapon, we give you a bunch of ammunition, because that's what you've seen in the movies. But in reality, we put you in a position where you could fire at downrange targets. And if you choose not to do that, you choose to turn your weapon on your fellow cadets, well, you're going to have a ventilated skull. So please, Chris, keep that up. Think that you're going to be some superhero that's going to be talked about on the news. No, you're going to be some batshit crazy person in basic who gets shot in the skull. Because we know that insane people like you exist, and we have ways to deal with you. So yeah. Try it. Give it your best shot, Chris. I promise you, the hair will be the least of the things you miss on your skull. Just so you know what...
Okay, I think it was a joke, but whatever. There's one of these. I think it's...
Okay, so apparently somebody made
No, that's the money one.
This person actually thinks this is a jab at the military.
There's one where he says, it's not like my lawyer hasn't already taken care of that. That's the only really thing. He just basically claims that his lawyer already took care of it. But now if we go to Bunny's page, we can actually talk about, she talks about her being called out for her arrest. Right here it is.
So there's been a woman here on TikTok who's basically made it her crusade to make sure I'm following the law. And I just thought, hey, let's return the favor. How you doing, Bunny? That's a wonderful mugshot you got there.
Well, hey, Joe, I never said I hadn't been arrested, but you forgot an important part. See, now, this is where you and I differ. I gave all of the information. I didn't put half of the information out there to try and defame somebody. Hang on, let me show you something real quick.
So it's hard to see here, but it says dismissed in court right here. I can try to zoom in for you. Give me just a second to get the magnifier up. See that? Dismissed by court.
See how that says possession of drug paraphernalia? Now, if you slide on over, you're going to see that that was dismissed by the court. Wait, let's take a look at the marijuana charge.
Dismissed by court. It says the same thing again. So, like, he's got an actual outstanding warrant right now for his arrest. He's hiding from the police in a house that's not his that we're going to talk about in a second because his house is listed for sale. And he calls her out and says, oh, well, I could talk about this. I could talk about that. I could show. She was arrested for it. She's never convicted of any of it.
Oh, well, would you look at that? That was dismissed by the court, too. And you're right. I do have a lead foot. I did forget about that ticket. But you know what? When I found out that I was driving around on a suspended license, you know what I did as a responsible person? I went down and paid it. Got it all taken care of. Now, I can tell you what I haven't done. I've never driven drunk and slammed into the back of another vehicle while I was so intoxicated that I passed out after the accident.
He got in a DUI, slammed into the rear of another vehicle, passed out after the accident while the cops are on their way.
Back of another vehicle while I was so intoxicated that I passed out after the accident. I've also never been found passed out in my vehicle. Can you see the same, buddy? Can you? I don't think you can. See, I love that you come here and the best you can come up with is a dismissed charge and the fact that I have a mugshot. So I guess
I've got some more information for you, Legend, about that.
4-1 on me. So I'm not going to stop chasing you down. And you can make this all go away if you just turn yourself in and do the right thing by the MCU investors. You're looking down the barrel of a lot of charges if all that stuff is correct. Have the day you deserve, sweetheart.
$800,000. They're charging $800,000 to manage 2.4 million. That's insane. All right, so here is a rundown of where she's at so far, and I'm going to let you guys watch this, and then we're going to check one more thing that'll help with locating our good friend, the elder millennial.
Okay, so there's a lot of people in my comments who do not understand what's going on because they're coming in on videos that are already within the series, and so this is your Cliff Notes version of essentially what's going on and why people are screaming that I'm obsessed with the older millennial. I'm not going to lie to you, this is going to be long and it's probably going to be boring to a lot of people, but it will have some juicy stuff. And if you enjoy the tedium of law, then you're going to enjoy this. It's going to be sped up as much as I reasonably can, but you know how to speed it up if you decide to join me for the ride. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I came onto the scene whenever Joe was screaming. We all remember he was screaming defamation from Danger Pill and Sarah Smiles, and that he was going to sue them because Danger Pill published a video making allegations that Joe said were false and they were criminal in nature. And Joe said that he was going to sue Danger Pill. Sarah ended up posting a video as well. She ended up posting an apology video. Anyways, I made a video stating that I didn't think Joe had an attorney and that I didn't think he was going to sue anybody on the basis that he had previously not sued anybody and what he was saying in his videos. And quite honestly, I did it as a bit of a social experiment. I was not completely forthright in what I put in. I started messing with people, and that probably wasn't entirely correct, but it is what it is. It's Joe. So there.
So this is like the whole rundown of how she got involved. This is the reason I'm showing it in case you haven't heard this story before.
And let me just throw in there that to date, Joe still has not sued either of them.
Ah, fuck. I'm an idiot.
Okay, so there's a lot
that was my bad.
To date, Joe still has not sued either of them. Back to the point. So I got a comment in one of those videos that said that they had invested in the MCU and that they couldn't get their money back. And I didn't pay it much mind because I didn't know what MCU was until somebody else posted a comment that they had been through the same thing. At that point, I decided to take a look at it. When Sarah Smiles hired an attorney and sent a cease and desist to Joe, I turned the comments off on my videos and I started researching MCU. I've been researching them for several months now. They alluded to giving excess funds to other 501c3s, giving the layman who might look up that documentation the impression that they themselves were a 501c3. Now that on its face, the older millennial, because that just requires clarification. But I noticed that their filings were coming due, so I began monitoring that, and I went over to the website for MCU Cooperative, which is Middle Class United Cooperative, Inc. On that website, they had their membership agreement and bylaws published. In their bylaws, they stated highly contradictory things. It was clear that they used some sort of AI to draft those documents. In the bylaws, they stated that they are not a not-for-profit, that they had modeled their governance after a 501c12, which is a cooperative.
Yeah, but he's trying to brush it off. So it's not even that big a deal. His claim is my lawyers already called him and took care of it, but that's obviously not true. So basically, it's a violation of probation for like, he's got probation from his DUI. He didn't tell him he was moving, and he moved. He didn't give him his new address. He didn't do his community service. He hasn't made his payments, and he hasn't shown up for 2 months. And he's talking about moving to Europe while he has control of like several $1 million that he got from investors.
IRS designation. However, that cooperative IRS designation is usually reserved for things like utilities, such as your water, gas, and electric. There were other glaring red flags in their bylaws, such as the fact that it clearly identified that the board and management would determine what their compensation was for their contribution themselves, much like the government does, like Congress does. This is a red flag because normally people who are on a non-for-profit, especially if they're on the board, they're doing that voluntary. It's like what we call a resume filler. It's also a major red flag because typically in a cooperative, it's member-driven democracy, which means that the members would decide on that. Another red flag was that the individuals listed on the website did not match the individual listed as the director in the Maryland filings, nor did it match the individuals listed as the board of directors, which Joe Redden is.
And their MCU TikTok account hasn't posted since last year.
A member of in the bylaws. I then went to the IRS website and searched and found that they had not filed in any capacity for any sort of ICR designation. That designation is what would provide them with their tax exemption for nonprofit. There was also inconsistencies in their bylaws in the way that they planned on distributing the funds that they collected. Mind you, the MCU has collected nearly $3.3 million. Without that designation and with the outline in their bylaws of how they would distribute the funds through membership dividends and payouts, there were a lot of things to be concerned with. The first being that this is not a traditional cooperative, and member dividends in a cooperative are normally paid out in rebates or reduction in service fee costs for the services that the cooperative offers.
So this would be like a farmer's co-op, right? You get discounted diesel fuel, or you get discounted corn seed, or you get whatever, or dividends. So discounted services or dividends, but it's called MCU Co-op Incorporated. It can't be both.
While MCU stated that it was going to invest in real estate and pay dividends back to its members. Now, it's not uncommon to have a real estate investment cooperative, but those are not nonprofits, and they have to be registered with the SEC because you're selling a security. When I levied MCU's bylaws and their stated mission against the Howey test, it came back as showing that they were selling unregistered securities. So I went to the SEC website to see if they had registered in any way, and they had not. I then began searching state websites to see if they had registered to do business in any other state than Maryland, since they were advertising the MCU to members across the nation. By this time, we had gotten to the point where they should have filed their annual filings, and they did not, which put them in not in good standing in Maryland.
Origin story, that's right.
Right to do business in the state of Maryland as well. See, in most states legally, if your business is not in good standing, then lawfully you are not allowed to conduct business until your business is back in good standing. Now let's go back to the individualized state searches. So even if your business is based in Maryland, in order to sell in a state like Texas or Virginia or North Carolina, you would have to register with their Secretary of State or their business controlling and oversight entity in order to obtain a designation as a foreign domestic business in that state, or to obtain your certificate of authority to do business in that state, depending on what state you're looking to do business in. My research found that they had not registered in any other state to do business, which means that every single membership agreement and payment that was made in any state outside of Maryland was done unlawfully, making those membership payments in membership agreements by letter of the law. What's more concerning is whenever I came out about MCU, I started getting more people in my comments stating that they had been trying to get their money out, that they had had thousands of dollars that had accrued, and they were unable to withdraw their funds. I received a screenshot showing that $2.5 million had been transferred to the Amundi Fund, which is a European-based real estate investment fund. This tripped my spidey senses because why on earth would you take funds for a cooperative that is meant to benefit and impact the direct community around the cooperative and invest it in a fund that is offshore? Every single aspect of the MCU appears that they may be violating blue sky laws, as well as selling unregistered and unregulated securities. It appears that they have not filed any of their business documents or professional filings with the state of Maryland, nor have they obtained the authority to do business in any other state other than Maryland. And I suspect that they probably have not filed their business taxes on that $3.3 million either. What's more concerning is that Joe has put his house up for sale and has come out saying that he plans to travel to Europe.
His house is listed, not just like I'm going to sell my house. It's listed in MLS.
Which is where the $2.5 million was allegedly transferred to. And let's talk about that screenshot I received of the $2.5 million showing the transfer to the Amundi Fund. It was absent of any markings that would indicate an actual transfer, which again would be a violation of a cooperative agreement because, again, it is member controlled and all of the members should receive the exact same documentation with all of the monikers on it to allow them to research that themselves. So essentially, there's no concrete evidence that that money was transferred to Europe into the Amundi fund. There's no explanation of where that money is. And now Joe is selling his house and leaving the country. The warrant for his arrest on a probation violation was just fortuitous in timing. What this is really about is what I suspect is a scam robbing 6,000 plus members of $3.2 million. And Joe's getting ready to take off. Again, that is just my suspicion. It is not stated as fact. That is my suspicion. It is a suspicion that I am acting on. Joe needs to answer for what's going on. He needs to answer about MCU, and he needs to turn himself in on his warrant. I'm not obsessed with Joe. I'm just helping him follow the law. Okay, so there
you go. Everybody's all caught up, right? And he's he's very defensive about it. Like, oh, well, I can talk about. I showed you, right? He's saying like she was arrested for this, but she wasn't convicted of any of it, dude. Who cares if she was arrested for murder? Who cares? So now, everybody pay close attention, especially you, Legend, and let's check out this video, okay? The original's not up, so I have to do this duetted version, but watch very closely here. He's now making the claim in his live stream because people are like, why aren't you at your house? Why are you on the run? Where are you at? Are you at people are trolling him in his live streams. That he just decided to not film anymore in his office. The problem is his home is listed in the MLS. That home includes interior pictures. Those interior pictures do not match the place he's live streaming from, right? Even the kitchen appliances don't fucking match. So watch this.
The older millennial last night on his live convincing his followers that he's not running from the police. He's at home. He's just in a different room. You guys just don't know what his house looks like.
How dare you film it? How dare I get out of my office for a second? How dare I? The worst part is most people have no idea what my house looks like. What's that behind you? It's a door. It's a door to the kitchen. Like, look, like...
You're going to get some more interior details here.
It's not crazy. It's just a door on some rails, guys. Nothing crazy. Just a door on some rails.
So he gets up to go to his kitchen in his house to get himself another drink. And, that doesn't really look like his kitchen, but I guess we don't really know what his
kitchen with a white fridge with a wreath above it. Okay, and a laundry room off to the back left. This is not his house. His house from the MLS has an island, black like stainless appliances, an island in front of the fridge, no laundry room off to the side.
His house looks like. I mean, look at that fridge. That's a white fridge. In this screenshot from Bunny's video.
From Bunny's got a video of his house listed, which we're going to go find in just a second. See that? What did it say?
He has a...
So that's a stainless fridge. This island here, no wreath, right? And the cabinets are right there. That does not look like this. That is not the same kitchen. So why are you lying about being in your house still?
A steel fridge, and it's also not even the same configuration of the kitchen. He's got an island in his home. That other kitchen he was in doesn't look like it has an island. It has what looks to be a laundry room over there on the right side. Living room's not there. This isn't the same room. If this is truly his house, I'm impressed at how quickly he was able to remodel it, knock down walls, move the kitchen around, get new appliances, install that cool rail ladder, install this cool barn door, just since he's listed the house. He should really have the photographer come back and take photos of the place and upload these new photos to the MLS, because that place looks so different from the listing that's currently on the MLS that it would kind of be fraudulent to put that home on the market with those pictures.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Don't look anything like the house.
I don't know why he doesn't turn himself in. I have no idea. He claims that he's got a lawyer that's taking care of it, but it's still up. He's still got an active warrant. She's talked to the police. They're like, oh, yeah, we've been to his house a couple times. Nobody answers. She's the one who told him his house was for sale. They didn't even know.
Or he's lying to his followers, and he's hiding from the cops somewhere else.
I don't know if we can find Bunny's video with the house listed for sale. I would hope that it would be in the... that it would show up on the thumbnail, but it might not be. Oh, is that it? He lives in Crestview, Florida. So this is his kitchen, right? It's at the very first of it. This is his kitchen for sale. That's a stainless fridge, much wider than that other fridge, plus a cabinet beside it. No wreath above it, right? That's weird. There's actually a cabinet above it. That's his studio. That's his studio he's always been in. No barn doors, no laundry room adjacent. None of this is it. They even put out like a fucking TikTok goddamn bolo on his damn on his car, like trying to find his fucking car. I don't know why he doesn't turn himself or do something, dude. This is insane. But he can't keep lying and pretending like it's not going on. It clearly is. It's obviously happening. We can see the warrant. We can see that shit. Like, you're not hiding the warrant from anybody. Anybody can call the police and say, "Hey, are you still looking for this guy?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, we're still looking for him." Nothing's been cleared up. Nothing's on the docket. Nothing's been entered into the record or whatever, right? It's just all fucking sitting there, and he is pretending like it doesn't exist. I think he's really worried about the MCU money. The fact that they haven't filed their taxes or their paperwork or anything related to it. I think there's a lot of shit going on around that. And he might honestly be getting ready to jet set. He just moved that $2.4 million to a European account. And he's talking about potentially like, I'm tired of living in the U.S. I might go to Europe for a while, sell my house and move to Europe. And his followers are like, yeah, take a break. They don't know that he just moved that $2.4 million they invested with him, that they haven't done shit with. It's just sitting in an account, even though they were supposed to do something about affordable housing with it. It's just sitting in an account. And they charged 25% of the money they charged for administrative fees. Could you imagine making some type of investment, and day one you lose a quarter of your investment to maintenance fees? How long is it going to take? How good would your investment have to be to make up a yearly 25% fee every year for administrative fees? What type of investment gives like a 30% return or a 40% return to where you can offset that 25% you lose? That's kind of wild, no? That's a lot to lose, like right off the fucking bat. But whatever. All right, a couple more. This was just wild to me.
Two members of the National Guard, seen here, decided to accompany their mother to her Chicago immigration appointment.
No, warrants don't just go away. You got to do something to settle him. If he gets pulled over, he's just fucked. If he tries to fly to VidCon, he's fucked.
We fear that she might get taken into custody. There's been reports of that. They get a text or an appointment. They have to come in, and they end up getting detained.
Well, 3 hours after arriving for her appointment, the mother left without incident, accompanied by her.
He was talking about how much he was going to go to VidCon, but I guess he didn't because it was the 19th to the 21st. So I guess he didn't go. Probably because of those warrants. But he was talking about meeting up with people and fucking some girl that had been in his live stream. They were going to have fun that they couldn't talk about on the internet. And, you know, anything goes. And they were up for it. Whatever. I guess he didn't go. Isn't it insane that we live in a world where your son from that's in the National Guard has to come escort you for doing the right thing, right? You're doing it the right way, going to your appointments, going to your meetings, going to your hearings, and your sons have to come escort you because they're afraid that you'll get fucking deported?
National Guard, seen here, decided to accompany their mother to her Chicago immigration appointment.
We fear that she might get taken into custody. There's been reports of that. They get a text or an appointment. They have to come in, and they end up getting detained.
Well, 3 hours after arriving for her appointment, the mother left without incident, accompanied by her 2 sons in uniform.
Damn, that is insane. All right, now, I know it's not always... you guys can watch this while I pull it up. I know Ryan Upchurch is not always super interesting, but his stories from today are pretty fucking crazy. I'm going to go grab them on Instagram. Watch this.
All right, do you want to see how right-wing creators like this intentionally avoid original sources to spread disinformation? I'm going to let him talk for a second, and I'll be back.
Vance Belter allegedly wrote a letter to the FBI claiming that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz instructed him to unalive Senator Amy Klobuchar. That's a sitting U.S. governor allegedly telling someone to take out a sitting U.S. senator, according to the letter.
So you'll notice when this guy wants to show proof to his right-wing audience, he uses this tweet from something called Disclosed TV that reads, in a letter to the FBI, Vance Belter claimed Governor Tim Walz instructed him to kill U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could run for the U.S. Senate. But then it says this is from the Minnesota Star Tribune, so why wouldn't he use that source? And that's because the Minnesota Star Tribune's article says that Belter's letter made wild claims and was rambling and conspiratorial. And according to the article, it says that it is incoherent, 1.5 pages long, confusing and hard to read, according to 2 people familiar with the letter's contents. It includes Belter alleging he had been trained by the U.S. military off the books, and that Walz, who is not running for Senate, had asked him to kill Klobuchar and others. And then this guy goes on to whine that if a similar rambling letter went on to implicate Trump, that suddenly the media would take it seriously, but that's not the point at all. Because claiming you got instructions in a one-on-one meeting from a politician is much different than saying their explosive rhetoric against a marginalized community inspired your violence. Which is exactly what Patrick Cruzius said, the El Paso shooter who killed 23 people and targeted Latinos, but in his sentencing, he said he thought he was fulfilling Trump's wishes in that attack. And this unfortunately has a long history because just a couple of months after Donald Trump announced that he was going to run for president and called Mexicans rapists, this guy and his brother on August 19th beat a sleeping homeless man of Mexican descent with a metal pole. Stephen Leader 30 told police Donald Trump was right, all these illegals need to be deported. The victim, however, was not in the United States illegally. And that's the difference, pal. When violence is done because people said they were listening to your words and it inspired them, that's much different than claiming they had some clandestine one-on-one meeting that is absolutely nuts.
I like Debunction Junction. They do a really good job. There are people literally committing violent crimes and saying, I thought I was doing what Trump wanted me to do when they go to court. And that's the same as this fucking psychopath writing a letter saying, I think Tim Walz wants me to kill him so he can be so he can take her spot. He's the governor, dude. He wasn't even running for that. What are you talking about? Anyways, as much as they can discredit it, they do not want to take the L on this one. And typically, I would be the first person to say, like, listen, political affiliation doesn't matter that much. But that's all this case is about, right? All this shooting is about, all the murders about, all this guy's about. That's it. Political affiliation. That and their crazy cult church they were part of, and that they were crazy fucking preppers with like these plans of catastrophe. And like, imagine, I could not imagine me being able to text Mariah and saying, look, I fucked up. There's going to be men with guns that are showing up that are going to be trigger happy, get out of the house. And she'd just be like, okay, makes sense. Load the kids up and take off and never reach back out to me, never call me, or be like, what'd you do? Oh my God, I'm coming to find you. Let me call 911. What the fuck's going on? Like, she would just load up and be like, okay, plan 3 is in effect. What the fuck? Like, his wife is probably crazy too. If I had to guess. She's part of that church. She claims, she told detectives they were preppers or whatever. Like, she's got to be crazy as well. All right, here we go. Ryan Upchurch's stories from today on Instagram are fucking wild, dude. Oh. Hold on. Oh, I can't listen to that. You guys can't listen to that music. That's my parents. Wow. That's a good video. Oh my God, it's got a, hold on, let me turn the audio back on. It's got a recording of my dad speaking at the end.
No one. Talk to you later. Love you guys. Bye.
All right, let me show you Ryan Upchurch's stories from today. They're pretty wild. I'll probably have to back up because I've already pre-watched a bunch of them, but I just go back as far as I can. We'll go from there. If there's any music in them, I have to skip them, but I don't think there were many with music in them. Sorry, that video, I didn't expect to see that video pop up.
Oh, y'all, I told you. I said, look, all these fucking yedums running around, their shit's finna start fucking unraveling and doing fucking backfiring. Don't you hear that fucking noise? It's a lot of fucking backfiring. Now, you damn right it is. That's because the real always fucking prevail. And when it's time for everyone to see who's real, well, fake motherfuckers can't do that because they ain't never been this before. What are you doing awake at night getting milk, bitch? The fuck you do? Shut up. Go to fucking bed. You go to fucking bed.
Yeah, he was recording all this at like 3 and 4 a.m. All of this.
You're fucking dead.
Until you see his, he puts on a shirt or something.
Hey, get him. Get your ass in the bed, bro. I'll whoop it with the Bible belt, motherfucker. All this bullshit they've been doing the past few years, it was making everybody mad. Because they're like doing all this fucking doing propaganda, doing crying, doing bitching, doing pussyisms on the fucking internet. It's actually starting to unravel, for real. I mean, look around. All the fake bullshit that ain't casted on everybody is coming back fucking 20-fold, motherfuckers. Me and Chris Hosier are homeboys. We ride fucking Harleys with each other. We fucking talk about our problems with each other. We fucking hang out. We have a good time. We make music. Fucking Dag Burn just fucking smacked one of fucking Adam Calhoun's friends and fucking hit the other one so hard he fell on the fucking ground at Piggly Wiggly or some shit. Yes, everything is, the karma is coming back. Karma's like, what's up, bitches? I'm here. And I'm in the fucking Batmobile today. All these motherfuckers that claim they was my homeboy, they're my friend, they got my back. The same motherfuckers who were like, there's something wrong with Upchurch, man. I don't know what's going on with him. Them motherfuckers, it's like somebody just like had some truth serum dust and just was like, and they all inhaled it and started telling the truth about themselves. Because now they're online, they're like, oh, I'm trying to find God, I'm trying to find who I am, I don't know who I am. Me, I don't know who the fuck I am, I need help, I'm trying to find me. And it's like, y'all are all telling on your fucking self. Keep doing it.
Yeah, so it would have been like 3:30 in the morning when he was recording these.
I'm like a crazy person. I'm like, yes, tell the truth. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait till he starts talking about hanging out with Klan members.
Dun, 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 dun. That's what I hear in the background. Dun, 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 dun. See, because it's backfired to the sense of like, sure, we may have lost a few people that react to my shit, right? But they didn't really like us anyway.
He also talks about progressive, pathetic patriot here in a second. Listen, you'll hear when he describes him.
Fucking ways. They were doing it because they had to. And Adam's like, dude, I got an idea. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do rapping on them. Yeah, fuck yeah. By the way, you're a fucking disgrace to motherfuckers who have your actual accent. There's other people who have that accent that make it sound cool. You just sound like a fucking, like, I want to play on the fucking jungle gym. Yeah, that's what you sound like. Anyways, what I was saying was, sure, the little fucking froggy toad looking motherfuckers like the flawed dude, they might.
Who's he talking about? Pathetic Patriot.
Have left, but who the fuck? Nobody wants that guy on your team any fucking way. I mean, look at him. He looks like a fucking crab apple.
Would it surprise you guys if you didn't know who this was, that he's like a multimillionaire? Like he bought all his friends and family cars and houses, and he owns this big ass ranch and probably 30 fucking vehicles, and he's a multimillionaire from country rap music.
Fell in the sewage and got like peanut.
It says he looks like a crab apple that fell in the sewage and got peanut poop stuck to him.
Doo-doo on it. That's what he is. He talks like that. He fucking acts like that, and he's one of them motherfuckers. Gross. You don't want that guy on your team anyway, right? But what they didn't
that was all about Pathetic Patriot, Eli.
Expect was even more motherfuckers starting to speak up. See, they thought they was gonna scare everybody into not taking up for what's right. It ain't about taking up for me. It's about taking up for what's right, because that's for everyone. And they didn't expect fucking working class fucking jack motherfuckers with neck tattoos to go to work every day that fucking please their old ladies and will smack the fuck out of you, are now getting up and being like, yo man, if you don't like church, fuck you. And you know why? Because those ain't the people you can be like, hey dude, hold up, dude. I'll give you $500 to do and say and fuck up church. And they're like.
So now anybody that comes out against Up Church is getting paid to do it, of course.
Smacks the fucking money out their hand. And they're like, motherfucker, I make my own fucking money. I don't need your money.
By the way, Ryan Upchurch is a whole new type of white person. I know this is hard to believe, but he's a new type of white person that was here in America since God spawned him in. He's not an immigrant. His family is an immigrant family. His family's always been from America.
All kind of different groups fuck with me.
Hold on.
And you know why? Because those ain't the people you can be like, hey dude, hold up, dude. I'll give you $500 to do and say and fuck up church. And they're like, smacks the fucking money out their hand. And they're like, motherfucker, I make my own fucking money. I don't need your money. All kind of different groups fuck with me. You want to know why? Because I, as an artist, am like, I'm like an attribute that most of the world has lost. And most of all different kind of groups wish they had more of this attribute, which is what? Loyalty, respect for others. To get respect, you gotta give it. That's why these other motherfuckers ain't got no respect from nobody.
I get no respect. Yeah. Hey,
they don't think they have to earn it. They think, dude, you need fucking $500 fucking dollars. Nah, you ain't gonna sell out on your homies for $500, are you? No. Well, if you're paying motherfuckers to do that, well then somebody obviously.
Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate
it. Paid you to be in the position you're in. No. If you're in a group of people that you have loyalty and respect with, then you shouldn't be able to be fucking bought. I mean, hey, if you bitching about fucking paying your dues to get where you at, well, then you could probably be bought by somebody paying you. Period.
So if you talk about paying your dues, then you're also getting paid by somebody, bought off.
That's why all kind of different groups fuck with me. The cops fuck with me. Shout out to Cheatham County National.
The cops.
Fucking bikers fuck with me.
Bikers.
Hood people fuck with me.
Hood.
Motherfucker, I've been in a room full of like Klans members and then.
What? Why were you in a room full of Klans members? Have you guys ever been in a room with nothing but Klansmen. That sounds like a meeting, right? I've met some people who were in the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. I was never in a room specifically with only Klans members, ever. You doing a little private show for them? When I was young, they used to send flyers around in your mailbox about joining the local KKK here where I live. In fact, the first time, I know this story probably exists other places, the first time I ever heard about someone having a negligent discharge and shooting someone else was Klans members that were throwing a party and burning a cross down on the river. They were burning a cross, having a party, getting drunk down on the river, and one of them pulled out a gun and started shooting, and a ricochet or a piece of a rock or something hit one of the other ones. But the story that was told was that they shot it straight up in the air and it came back down and hit him, but I don't think that's true. But a ricochet or a piece of whatever they were shooting at came back and hit one of the guys, and they had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance.
The next weekend, be with all my hood homies.
So one weekend you're with nothing but Klan members, and the next weekend you're with hood homies.
You know why? Because there's a understanding between everybody. For real. If my homie's having a cookout with a bunch of his black buddies, I'm not gonna be like, dude, can I come? Can I come? Dude, can I come and fucking film it and say, hey, I'm doing rapping? No. Because he's obviously hanging out with all his black homies this weekend. Same for me. Vice versa. It's a...
So you were hanging out with your Klan homies while he was hanging out with his black homies. And you didn't want to interrupt. I got you.
Fucking respect thing. It's a understanding thing. When you don't understand yourself or your people, you end up like these motherfuckers. And look, I get it. There's going to be some people it's like, dude, that's fucking racist. Motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Shut up. There's a difference in realistic and racist.
Okay.
Realistic is just saying what the fuck it is. I know the world is not used to fucking hearing that anymore, and everybody's fucking saying a script and wearing a fucking costume, but some of us just don't want to fucking do that. Being racist is going out of your way to fucking antagonize someone who don't look like you. That's what you motherfuckers do. That's what you motherfuckers do.
Oh.
Not us.
So you hang out with the Klan, but we're the racists.
Not us. That's why on the news it's always like, oh, this black guy totally beat the F out of white dude for no reason. And they do it vice fucking versa. Yeah, we ain't fucking listening to these motherfuckers anymore. None of us are. And you want to know why it's a fucking revolving thing that keeps happening over and over and over? Because you don't have the real fucking story.
Oh, okay.
The real fucking story is...
I didn't think we had the real story.
Over here in America, there was already a certain fucking DNA of white person, and there was already a certain DNA of black person.
What? So over here in America, before anybody came here, there was already white DNA and black DNA here. There's white people here and black people here already. Before anybody got here. Well, there you go. He thinks he's a Roman, and the Romans are actually in Tennessee, not in Rome.
And they both fucking lived with each other and lived around each other and had no fucking problem whatsoever.
There was no racism till the other whites and the other blacks showed up.
Racism wasn't even a fucking thing. The black dudes hung out with the black dudes, the white dudes hung out with the white dudes, and they all worked together and hung around each other, and that was it. There wasn't like, no, oh, there's too many black guys over here. Oh, man, there's too many white guys over here. Nobody ever fucking said that. Then another fucking kind of white person come over here, and another kind of fucking black person come over here. This black group integrated with that black group and fought with them, and same with the white side. That's what the fuck happened. And it was on purpose. Overseas, there was a white group that went down to Africa. It was like, hey, we have an idea. We need your help. And they're like, okay, what? And they're like, we're gonna take y'all to America. Y'all gonna integrate with the black folks over there. Kind of like when motherfuckers go to Afghanistan and they grow big beards and fucking wear turbans and act like they're fucking Afghans when really they're not. Really, they're.
So he's saying the slave trade was British white people went and picked up black people in Africa and come over here to put them with our good blacks that didn't cause no trouble.
A fucking white dude who's really tan, who's in the fucking U.S. military. It's the same fucking thing, just back then. It's not far-fetched. If you think it's far-fetched, then what the fuck? Where have you been? You been living under a rock? Jesus Christ. But anyways, and then the fucking British.
Sorta. The like the town I live in. I mean, don't hold it against me. It's just, I mean, it's my hometown. There's not much I can do about it. But there are few to no black people in my town. I didn't see a black person in real life until I started playing sports in high school. And it has a very racist past that black people know about today. Like Mariah's got a cousin that is black, and they all know about Irwin and its history or whatever. They're like, anytime something comes up, they're like, well, we're not going to your place, kind of deal. It's there are places like that, a lot of places like that, but it's not like official segregation. They're not like this is the white's bathroom and this is the white store and the black store. But other towns like Johnson City is 10 minutes away or whatever. There's black people all over the place over there. Yeah, it was a sundown town. It actually has a really, really horrible past. There was this false accusation against a black guy. He ends up I'll tell the whole story some other time, but there's a false accusation against this black guy, and he gets shot, and they take him to the rail yard and hang him in front of the black railroad workers and give them to the end of the day to get out of town, and then they burnt down all their houses and shit. Like, it's really fucked up history.
British crumpet eating fucking white people came over here.
Crumpet eating, the British.
And started fucking with us white people.
Which is weird that he's going for the British, because it's usually the Jews.
That's what happened. And look, now they just do, it's black and white, black and white. No. It's white versus white and black versus black is what it is.
It's white versus white and black. So we're fighting the crumpet eaters, and the black people are fighting the other black people.
And between the white folks, here's what it is if you ask me. It's the fucking Southern, all-American, will do what they got to do for their family, will say what they feel like is true, whether anybody likes it or not, white person, versus the motherfucker who has no morals and is just weak and will not stand up for anything that they believe in.
So it's the Southern, hardworking, moral-based people versus the weak, horrible, no morals, won't stand up, won't speak. What?
Things are getting overpowered, and that's the white person that fucking tries to suppress the ones like myself. And it's been happening forever. White versus white. Yeah. And they can't fucking actually go to war with us because we'll beat their fucking ass. And as far as black folks go,
there was just some puff piece article that came out of Round Up Church.
I shouldn't be speaking on this, but I can at least give my thoughts on it. So, if you ask me, it's like the old school OG motherfuckers who are smart. They know what's going on, right? But the TV and the media has infected the black youth so much that the old school black folks who got all the fucking knowledge, they have all the knowledge to give to their youth to make them like uprise and form with the white dudes who are on the same fucking page. But here's the thing. Hip-hop music, pop culture, and everything, they have fucking attacked young black culture with that so fucking much that they don't want to listen to nobody, bro. They are wild. At least most of them.
Those black people are wild. Those YNs, they're black animals.
They're wild, bro. They're wild. They don't give a fuck. They will shoot you. They will fuck. But look, who did that?
The young black people are wild. They will shoot you. They will not listen. You can't tell them anything. They're crazy like animals. That's not racist at all.
The other fucking crumpet eating white people, bro. They did it.
The other white people made them like that. Not Ryan's white people.
On purpose. What the fuck? That's why they came over here a long time ago. Remember? That's what I'm saying.
Remember when we were all living here, getting along great? White and black, no racism, no nothing. Right? A utopia. And then the other white people came and look where we're at. You remember? Do you remember? No, we don't remember. Because one, that didn't happen, and the time period you're talking about is clearly several hundred years ago.
And it was a white and a black group came over here to fuck with our white group and black group. That's what happened. And that's why I said, look, you know who did that? A crumpet-eating fucking white person done that to fucking the black youth. I mean, bro, look what they do. Look what they do when it comes to real estate and housing, how they do cities, how they'll push like black folks into fucking poverty.
So that's the first true statement you've made.
Yes, dude. So yeah, it ain't fucking racist. It's fucking realistic. And both realistic ass sides knows what the fuck's going on. So when somebody like myself, I know somebody's like, oh, well, you're getting off topic. No, the fuck I'm not. Because
You'll figure it out eventually, Rochelle.
Still talking about music. Because...
Wait, that was all about music? That was all about the music industry?
When a motherfucker makes sense, that's the motherfucker they try to shut up. That will be somebody like me. And that's the thing. They're used to being able to shut motherfuckers up. Look at crumpet ass eating Adam and his 50 fucking friends trying to get rid of me, and it ain't fucking working. What do you know? And some would be like, hey, well, it's your own people doing that. No, that's a different white DNA over there. That's not the one I have. Not at all. But what they're doing is they're being paid to get rid of the motherfuckers who make sense. You just say something and it fucking makes sense. You don't have to make up a big fucking fake fucking story for someone to believe it.
By the way, he's fixing to show this puff piece article, I think, as part of his story. And I just found the article. It's from countryrapnews.com. Countryrapnews.com. I've opened the article twice today, and it's only got 46 views ever. It was written back in May. Actually, it was updated June 3rd, but it was written back on May 23rd.
It's obvious. Now, go back to thinking about warfare tactics, right?
Okay.
Okay, well,
warfare.
We're in a different age where...
This is also music, but warfare.
Warfare is different. It's different. It's war of the mind, okay? That's where...
Mind war.
That's why everybody's always like, hey, it's a psyop. Well, what if the psyop...
Nope. That's not even true. If you hang out with people, if your friends are always like, hey, it's a psyop, you're hanging out with some weird fucking people. Right? The only time I see psyop is online, and you claim all your friends are in real life and you don't spend time online. There's never a point in my life where I feel like all the time my friends are saying psyop.
Psyop is like right beside us, and we don't even know it. Some of us can see it, but remember how I said United States soldiers will get real tan, dirty, put a turban on, grow a big beard, so all you see is this much of their face, and then they're automatically like, look just like an Afghan? All right. Well, Tom McDonald's jumping around on a tank going, fucking, America's horrible, America's horrible, America has bacteria. Well, motherfucker, one, you're from Canada. Two, you live in fucking, like, Hollywood.
So he said America has bacteria. He's talking about Tom McDonald wore a mask for a long time. And I think the reason is because his wife, who's also his music producer and videographer and all that stuff for Tom McDonald. I don't like Tom McDonald at all. But in his defense, his wife is immunocompromised. So during COVID, they took it super seriously. I don't know if she was doing treatment or if she has a disease that makes her immunocompromised, but she could not, COVID may have taken her life. So he wore a mask quite a bit and got a lot of flack from right-wing people because he just wore a mask.
Where most of this propaganda bullshit been being filmed, okay? All right,
so propaganda is all filmed out in California, most of it.
You're Canadian living in California, dressing up in and acting like you're an American. You even wear a fucking mask one day.
I do think that's silly that Tom McDonald made this video about how cool it is to be American with Adam Calhoun, and they're like riding on a tank and talking about America and but he's Canadian. Right? That is strange, right? They're wearing like bulletproof vests and like waving flags and tanks. They're not in a tank. They're standing on top of a tank while it's driving, singing. in the music video, and he's Canadian.
This says, "Make America Great Again," with an American flag. Okay, so are you mocking America? Because that's what it seems like, especially when you're over a baby.
I think you're confusing amateur porn and propaganda. I know, yeah, you're confusing amateur porn. I've seen your hub account.
Going, America's horrible. America's horrible. No, fuck you. You're fucking horrible. Get the fuck out of America, you fucking cunt. Who else is doing Afghan costumism? Fucking Adam. Adam, dude on fucking country. I got fucking Red Wings. Come on, I got fucking Red Wings. Fucking yeah. We'll ride a four-wheeler and get a fucking calzone. Nobody fucking, no Southerner talks like that. Which is cool if you're not a Southerner, but when you're trying to put the costume on and sit on a four-wheeler and be like, hey,
okay,
I'm just like all these fucking dudes, man, around this town. And then you get beside one of the main spokesmen for this fucking area in music, and you're like, dude, somebody fucking help him, dude. Oh, church lost his mind. No, you're wearing a fucking costume, motherfucker. Period. Nothing else matters. Costume wearing ass cracker. Because when a group has a...
He's definitely lost it.
Spokesman or someone who is...
Do we still think he's clean and sober? Is that what we're going with this?
Or a public figure or public speaker for said kind of person, and they have a squeaky clean record, their work ethic is fucking insane, and they always confront everything that comes their way head on. That's who I want to follow. That's somebody who I can learn from, who knows what to fucking do. Does Adam know what to fucking do? No. He fucking do. I'm fucking doing rap, man. You know, I'm fucking 16. Look at my chains. Go get the towels out of the dryer, motherfucker. How about that? You're trying to disrupt a demographic of people. That's what you're doing. Tom, you're doing the same fucking thing. Jelly, you're doing the fucking same thing. And everyone's starting to see it, and I don't like it. See, because usually it's myself being like, guys, seriously, this is what's going on. It's everyone now. Dude, the post yesterday where somebody's like, look what Jelly Roll sent me. And it's Jelly Roll being like, dude, if you got pictures of Ryan on your Instagram, I can't fuck with you. Like, what? Dude, the guy literally was like, dude, I ain't talked to church in forever, but, you know, fuck that. I lost respect for Jelly because this is some hoe shit. And it is some fucking hoe shit. What? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing? It's some hoe shit. Period. That's a thing. They're used to trying to scare motherfuckers. America's been too wild for too long. Ain't nobody getting scared by nothing.
Uh-oh. That's right.
I can promise you this. There's more people in the world that don't like hoe shit than there is that like hoe shit. And that's just some real shit. Also, last thing I want to say. Everybody who is looked at as a leader of some sort, and yes, there's a bunch of leaders in America. It's just in different walks of life and all kind of shit. There's not one like person who's like, I'm the leader of everything besides President Trump. Shout out Trump. He's a bad motherfucker. But in society, there's a bunch of leaders, right? A leader don't care if there is someone like them that is better than them. That's the fucking goal of being a leader. Is to find the one that is just like you, that shares the same like thoughts and values and morals and stuff, that is fucking better than you. That's the point.
Okay.
That's how you keep it going. It's when people want to, I'm fucking number one. Oh, who the fuck does that sound like? Exactly. Eat your fucking crumpets.
The crumpets come back in. Okay.
A real leader knows there's going to be a better one. They hope for a better one. And they also know there's other leaders, motherfuckers. Good night. Holla boy out.
This is real simple. This is real simple. Everyone knows where I'm at all the fucking time.
What the hell does that mean?
Everywhere I fucking go.
Oh no, Lord Farquaad. Adam got people following him around, fucking playing trumpets. Some guys are skipping in front of him, throwing out like rose petals. Everyone knows where I'm at every day, all day. The easy princess.
Now this one says, when Kash Patel was at the Senate committee on May 8th, something very big was said that most don't realize. They said Trump has hired an analyst and linguist to keep our country safe. Yes, interesting stuff is about to come out. Then it says, linguistics dictionary, the scientific study of language and its structure, including the study of morphology, syntax, phonetics, semantics. Specific branches of linguistics include sociolinguistics, dialectology, psycholinguistics, computational linguistics, historical comparative linguistics, and applied linguistics. So he claims Kash Patel said this during a Senate hearing, and all this, he's a Q-tard as well. So he's on drugs, he's a fucking psychopath, he's ran off all his family and friends, and he's a Q-tard as well.
They said the leader of Al Quesadilla said, what? Huh? Death to who?
Wait a second. What could make this worse? He's already talked about Kash Patel and QAnon, conspiracy theory, and how cool Trump was. What the video that I think got cut off is he's like, I'm not talking about Trump. Trump is the greatest man of all time. He's here to save us. What could make this worse? A racial slur could make it worse, right? But he's probably not going to do that. What about saying Sig Heil over and over and over and over and over again? Would that make it a little bit worse? Sig Heil over and over. Who used that term predominantly? Sig Heil. Is that that's probably like an early American term or something? I can't remember. You know what this reminds me of? Playing dumb with the Hitler stuff. Have you guys ever seen that Norm Macdonald clip where he doesn't know what 420 means?
Motherfucker! You don't want the white people going full Zig Heil. We go full Zig.
What?
They said the leader of Al Quesadilla said, what? Huh? Death to who? Motherfucker! You don't want the white people going full Zig Heil. We go full Zig Heil. You're in trouble, buddy. You don't.
All right, so he said it. Right, he said it. We go full Sig Heil. You're in trouble. You don't want us going full Sig Heil. That's German for hell victory or whatever. Yeah, but surely, right? He said it twice, multiple times he said it. But surely he wouldn't write a little song about it, right? Surely he just said it, and that's just like a passing thing he did, and he's like, fuck it. Surely he wouldn't write a couple little songs about it, would he? Oh, yeah?
Don't want these crazy white people out here going full Zig Heil on you. We're gonna chase you through the woods like an Indian, black and tan, running fast under the moon. And we ain't asking nobody for nothing. We're telling you, get the fuck out of our home.
We'll go full Sig Heil on you. We're chasing you out in the woods like a dog under the moon. We ain't asking you for nothing. We're telling you to go the fuck home. Clearly, it's taking a more racist turn, right? It's not like it's definitely not less racist.
If you don't like the rednecks, will get scared when you see machine guns, cocaine, and a guy in a thong. Hell yeah, Tennessee, motherfucker. Let's see, what else do I got for him? Oh, I got one for you. You can't sit out here, just scope out all our airplanes. Get lost or fucking die. Keep on and Earth is a planet that you won't be on.
And this is the article he shares that has 40 views or whatever since June or since May. It's just like a huge puff piece from nobody. Then he shares this fake AI news story. It definitely took a more racist turn, right? Like he's like, you don't want us going Sig Heil, we'll hunt you down in the woods. We don't want nothing from you. We just want you to get the fuck out of our country. Like, what? That was weird. Point of view, you're trying to watch the news after being red-pilled.
Breaking news, George Soros is funding the new Ice Fest.
Okay, that's exciting.
We go live to the propaganda.
Sir, what exactly are you protesting here today?
I don't even know why we're yelling, but I think chaos is good. What's wrong?
This is obviously an AI video.
From their homes.
Do you know anyone personally affected?
No, but my friend's uncle's distant cousin's friend. We're here to get impressionable youth to come cause chaos.
Why are you out here today? They're taking people from their homes. Where'd you see that? The news. Go watch the news. We are the resistance. The news said so. Grab a rock.
Good thing there's pallets of bricks and a conveniently placed pile just dropped off for protesters.
Here's the thing about people being illegal. Illegal should be legal. We don't need laws. What's good, foo? You want to catch a fade? I'll mess you up right now.
How fun. Reminds me of the Floyd Fest.
Perfect distraction while the so-called Semites cause unrest in the Middle East.
Right. More propaganda.
Good one, John. Shut it down or I'll shut it down. In other
Whoa. Whoa. This took kind of a pretty racist turn as well, huh?
We were promised this land thousands of years ago. Bergstein, take it away. Thanks, Steinowitz. Remember, people, they are the bad guys. Trust me.
These people are an absolute cancer.
Truly going to be the end of the human species.
That's anti-Semitic, Brittany. You better watch your tone.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot they fund the news.
Exactly. Back to you, Dennis.
You guys make a good point, but my producers tell me to distract people with chaos so they don't notice who's actually starting World War III.
Why are you out here today?
Because if you come here illegally, you deserve to be here. Like, illegal activity shouldn't even be illegal, dog.
Well, this is a perfect way for the government to unleash martial law. Get ready for FEMA camps, folks. Dennis, take it away. In other news, if you haven't followed Jake GTV yet, you might be a total loser. Certainly not based. Most likely retarded. Breaking news, George Soros is...
Wow. Back to his stories.
George Soros is...
No amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot, Mark Twain. And that was his final post of the day. That is Ryan Upchurch, everyone. The Ryan Upchurch on Instagram. I can't watch that video again. I'm going to cry. The
breaking news. Welcome to Upchurch Investigates. My name is Ryan Upchurch, and I'm investigating.
The one and only Ryan Edward Upchurch. How fucking insane. He's lost his goddamn mind, dude. And turned super racist during it. So, there you go. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to go back and watch that video with my parents. That made me cry. I liked it. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Consider supporting the show. We could greatly use your support right now. I'm waiting on my VA rating, so hopefully that comes through within the next month or two. But until then, we're just barely skating by, trying to get through until our jobs return after the flood. So if you can help us out, that would be great. We would appreciate it. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. And we'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have a good one, guys. Support the stream at coldbeer.fund if you want to. I'd appreciate it.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
He tried to be funny by being super racist piece of shit. That makes sense.
Wit in a sixth sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on cocks that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know.